Gobble, gobble, it's almost Thanksgiving, and you know what that means? America goes back to the good old days when the women are in the kitchen for the whole darn day. And now the times have changed. Anyways, get your turkey and gravy, my friends. It's a Thanksgiving feast here on MU180.
With five-time Emmy Award-losing lead anchor Kevin Ellis, Marco Bichinich, weather, Zach Myers, sports, and your reporters from the field, Roberto Vaquero and Trayvon Wesley. It's MU180 at 7 o'clock.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Ellis. Minnesota is in a state of emergency tonight as their warm rolls for Thanksgiving have been stolen. Police reports state that the 4 million pounds worth of rolls were stolen from their factory along the Mississippi River around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Now, the likely suspects have dwindled down to Jay-Z and Kanye West for their love of big buns. The Department of Health and Human Services is urging Thanksgiving feasters to take it easy on the food this year. According to the department, nearly 60,000 Americans went to the emergency room last year for severe stomach cramps. Nearly 150 of those cases resulted in overnight hospitalizations due to severe diarrhea and vomiting. In 2009, one person became so fat from their Thanksgiving meal that they were rushed to the hospital where the doctors had to perform emergency liposuction and gastric bypass surgery to prevent further harm. That unfortunate person was Star Jones. Yeah, Star Jones. And finally, this year, Walmart has moved their Black Friday sales to Thanksgiving evening at 8 o'clock. Many people are saying that the switch will lessen the family experience on Thanksgiving because of early sales. Despite critics of the switch, law enforcement officials in the country are thankful for the 8 o'clock time, which they say will likely decrease the murder rate. Asked how the murder rate would decrease, officials cited that fewer conservative voters would have less time to kill their liberal family members at the dinner table. It's now time for This Day in 1660. On this day in 1660, a man by the name of John Johnson went ferret hunting in the cold winter with his comrades Patrick, Benjamin, and Ned. John got the only kill of the day, which was a turkey. The men feasted on its flesh that night and gave thanks for the bird on that cold night on Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving as we know it was born. And that's your day in 1660. We now have breaking news from Foxbrook, Pennsylvania, where apparently 1,000 turkeys set for slaughter escaped their impending doom at the Chop House. Our very own Kevin Landgraf is reporting from the scene. Kevin.
That's right, Kevin. I'm here at the Foxbrook Turkey Time Chop House, where nearly 1,000 turkeys are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. This means that the town Foxbrook will most likely not be celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow. But you know what, Kevin? Even if these folks can't be, I think the rest of us should be thankful that we'll have turkey tomorrow. Let's pause for a moment and think about all the poor mother cluckers who lost their lives so we could be satisfied.
Wow, Kevin, I never took you for the animal rights type.
Oh, I'm not. Joshing. I say kill them all. Thanksgiving is a day of getting my fill and thanking God we're at the top of the food chain.
Well, what about those people who do not partake in eating meat?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Kevin. Nothing fiddles this cat's sticks more than these so-called vegetarians. I mean, really, a person who doesn't eat meat, that's like an anaconda that doesn't crush people like it's only a little slithery snake in the grass. Or like Chuck Norris without a beard. Or like a chain smoker who doesn't smoke 4 cigs at a time, one between each finger saying, "Oh God, I'd kill for a cigarette." Or like prison without...
Okay, Kevo, probably shouldn't say that on TV.
What? Really angry inmates? My point is, man didn't tussle with dinos, fro leak with saber-toothed tigers, just eat tofu and flower petals for the rest of existence.
I'm not sure that's really historically accurate.
Hey, it's science. But Kevin, you ever go to a restaurant, order steak while your gal pal orders a salad, and then when the food comes out, do you think, well, holy hell, that pile of leaves really makes me regret this porterhouse?
No, I can't say that I have, Kevin, but then again, my dates usually are a trip to McDonald's, and my squeeze isn't getting more than a Happy Meal. She knows her place.
Good man, Kevin. That's why I shoveled down the meat. I'm a man!
Yes, you are, Kevin, and good luck getting those turkeys back in their cages, Kevin, and thank you.
No, Kevin, thank you.
When we return, we will be joined by a representative from PETA who will be speaking to us about animal rights. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We now have more racist editorial from Marco with the weather. Marco?
First, I'd like to begin tonight with a public service announcement. You can steal from a Chinese restaurant, or you can stroll down the beach. Either way, you're taking a walk. This is Marco Bacanic, the weatherman required to wear pants. As we all know, Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast this weekend, ignoring a restraining order issued on October 20th by the entire region. Due to the extent of the damage caused, Sandy will be tried as an adult. In a related story, the artist Psy is currently under investigation after allegations that the dance to his hit song Gangnam Style is actually an ancient Navajo rain dance, which after so much proliferation may have actually caused the storm. Now we're going to go to the big weather map to get a look at next week's weather, and if you look closely at it, you'll notice that this is actually a Verizon wireless 4G coverage map. In Antarctica, it's going to be cold today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and every day thereafter, which is why Eskimos have 20-some-odd words for snow, but no word for weatherman. In France, it is scheduled this entire next week to rain large bearded women, up to 23% of which are predicted to be lesbians. And this just in, it has been confirmed that Gangnam Style is indeed an ancient Navajo rain dance, and the next step in the legal process will be proving intent. Sources are saying that Rosie O'Donnell has been in France for several weeks and has been visiting the local karaoke club every night since the third day of her stay. In light of this new evidence as to the nature of the Gangnam Style dance, authorities say they will be looking into the songs and dances O'Donnell has been performing to see if Gangnam Style has been on any of the playlists, and if a tainted version of the dance was done by O'Donnell, which experts say could have resulted in the reign of bearded women. Honestly, the rest of the weather here and all around the rest of the world is incredibly dull. Nothing to report here in Milwaukee, and there will be clear skies throughout Thanksgiving break. Remember, if you don't like the weather, move, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Speaking of bearded women, Jay Cutler and the Bears lost against the Texans this week. On over to sports with Zach.
Hello, this is Zach, and I got everything sports coming your way. We start off with basketball news, as after the Los Angeles Lakers started the season 2-4 with all the tools to be a successful team, they fired their head coach Mike Brown. Rumors started circling that they would bring legendary coach Phil Jackson back, who many argue was the best coach in NBA history. However, they decided to hire some guy that no one has ever heard of to fill the job, when the best coach in NBA history said that he would have come back. It seems like the Lakers are trying to hide the fact that their best player, Kobe Bryant, is now 34 years old. Now we're going to switch it over to a sport, if you can call it a sport, which I have no idea what I'm talking about, NASCAR. But as a dedicated sports reporter, I'm going to give it my best shot. So yesterday morning, I turned on SportsCenter and I saw this guy flipping out after a race. He was like, effing ridiculous, F you, blah, blah, blah. Well, my conclusion from watching this was that he is mad at something. I guess he was mad at another driver's pit crew. So here's what I have to say to this NASCAR driver. You are flipping out at a bunch of people who change tires. I mean, their job sucks. They get to watch you drive in a circle for 5 hours, and then they change your tires. My guess is, from watching the sport, minimum wage workers. I see no future in them, and you are only diminishing their hopes. So NASCAR driver, let's just learn to play nice. Moving over to football, on Sunday, the San Francisco 49ers, a team that some predicted would go to the Super Bowl, played host to the St. Louis Rams, a team that not even a single person, not even the head coach of the mother of the team, predicted that would go to the Super Bowl. And the game ended in a tie, making it the first tie since 2008. If you're unfamiliar with overtime rules, all you have to do is score to win. Neither team scored in 15 minutes of play. So here's what I have to say about this game. The St. Louis Rams, you should be thrilled. For once, you weren't crushed by a good team. The 49ers should try and remember how to play football again. And those poor, poor fans. Imagine what they must be thinking when they go home that night and their spouse asks them, "Oh, how was the game?" And they have to respond, "It ended in a tie." How boring of a football game is that? Neither team won. The game was basically meaningless. It must suck to be one of those people who went to the game. And finally, I had this week's sport of the week. It is called goving. In this sport, you and your least favorite person are put on the same team. Just this alone, and you are already having an entertaining evening. But you and your teammate must run through a mud puddle that is approximately 1.5 miles long while having a donut in your mouth. Do not eat the donut. Do not let mud get on the donut. You and your teammate also are tied at the hands and at the legs. Work together. This is where it gets fun for everyone watching as the teammates start bickering at each other. Stop pulling my hair. You're going too fast. I want to take a break. Stop eating your donut. Why did you start dating my ex 3 years ago? Once they reach the finish line, you reveal to the players that they weren't racing against anyone, and there was no point to the game, nor is there a prize. So this sport is specifically for the fans' enjoyment. Now, back to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Zach. When we return, we will be back with Trayvon and his special report. Don't go anywhere.
It's been a wonderful week for politics. Hot off what some people might call the most contentious election in the past century, President Obama and Congress began by ushering in a new era of cooperation.
President Obama reportedly is ready to play chicken on the edge of the government's fiscal cliff.
There is a freight train bearing down on this country called the fiscal cliff. It made the stock market so nervous today for the second day in a row. It dropped. And business leaders have begun to come forward to warn the government there will be serious economic consequences if there's no deal. At issue, the fiscal cliff, a doomsday law that hikes taxes and unleashes a wrecking ball of cuts by January 1st.
Yesterday, that raising tax rates is unacceptable. And frankly, it couldn't even pass the House.
Our sources say that the White House has sent word to Capitol Hill that the president is determined to get rid of those Bush tax cuts for families making over $250,000 a year.
What? I don't even... Why does it feel like our whole country just wasted the past 2 years on pointless bickering? Despite months and months of preparation, and even a practice round last summer, neither party is willing to budge on the critical issue we've been hearing so much about, taxes. On the right, John Boehner, the leader of the House of Representatives, commonly mistaken for a crying orange, and on the left, a newly rejuvenated Barack Obama, who after last week's resounding re-election decided to take a victory lap around Ohio, and their opponent, the fiscal crisis, a very real crisis that's starting next year on January 1st. If Boehner and Obama can't come to some sort of agreement by then, we are in a world of economic hurt. And that's not an exaggeration. Massive tax increases, massive spending cuts, and massive problems for both sides. You might have heard about this problem before under the less apocalyptic name sequestration. Essentially, it's the same thing. It's the bomb that Congress set itself to make sure some real progress would be made toward fixing our other huge problem, the debt. But for some reason, packing a room full of ideologically opposed folks and a ticking time bomb doesn't necessarily lead to the most coherent discussion or resolution of policy. Expect the month to be rocky at best. And if we're going to get any solution, it's going to have to come from both sides. And that's something we probably aren't going to get in any substantial form. Even after November 6th, we're still struggling to decide which direction this country is going in. Let's just hope that we can agree to tap on the brakes before we drive off this fiscal cliff. And speaking of tapping, let's talk a little bit about General David Petraeus, the former director of the CIA who resigned last Friday after revealing he cheated on his wife with the author of his biography, Paula Broadwell. Oh, it's been so long since our last big sex scandal. Anthony Weiner was a little bit more than a year ago, if I remember right. Luckily, this one has something that Congressman Weiner never had, a book written by the mistress with a hilarious title. The book, which was critically panned before this news came out, is titled All In. That's right. The mistress wrote a book during the sex scandal called All In. Even better, the book received this review on Amazon. Paula is obviously a fan and didn't have any objectivity in the book. Petraeus is either awesome or super awesome. Okay, got it. Next, there is no depth. To be fair, I think she got a little bit more depth than many of us realized.
Welcome back, folks. Trayvon's here with a couple of Thanksgiving facts that you can share at the dinner table. Here now with the report is Trayvon Wesley.
Hello, MU180, and I'm Trayvon Wesley. Gilberto couldn't be here today due to food poisoning from a spoiled turkey that he found while rummaging through Rihanna's dumpster. Now, you may be wondering why he was rummaging through Rihanna's garbage and why did Rihanna have a spoiled turkey to begin with? We'll never know. But what I do know are facts about Thanksgiving that you may not know or simply could care less about. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Fact 1. If you have a weird grudge against forks, you'll like this one. Pilgrims didn't use forks on the first Thanksgiving. They ate with spoons, knives, and their fingers. Wow, difficult. Fact 2. Did you know Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird of the United States? Seriously though, could you imagine a turkey representing the United States against other national animals like Russia's bear, China's dragon, which doesn't even exist, and England's lion? No, Mr. Franklin, no. Moving on to our next fact. Each year, the average American eats somewhere between 16 to 18 pounds of turkey, and Americans eat roughly 535 million pounds of turkey on Thanksgiving. That explains a lot of things, like my family. Also, did you know the heaviest turkey ever raised was 86 pounds? One day, I'll try to beat that record. Not with a turkey, but a duck. Yes, a duck. Next fact. Lobster, rabbit, chicken, fish, squashes, beans, chestnuts, hickory nuts, onions, leeks, dried fruits, maple syrup, and honey. Radishes, cabbage, carrots, eggs, and goat cheese are thought to be made up the first Thanksgiving. Ew. Here's another one. Canada also celebrates Thanksgiving. However, their Thanksgiving is held on the second Monday of October. What? Anyway, an astonishing 92% of Americans eat turkey at their Thanksgiving feast. So what are the other 8% of Americans eating? Lobster, rabbit, fish, squashes, beans, chestnuts, hickory nuts. You get the idea. Here's one that sucks for turkeys. If they look up while raining, they can drown and die. Did you know only male turkeys gobble, and when they do, it's typically a mating call? I don't know why, but that makes me gobble a little bit. I mean laugh. To close out the fun Thanksgiving facts for today, I have one more for you. Believe it or not, the settlers didn't have silver buckles on their shoes, nor did they wear somber black clothing. Their attire was actually bright and cheerful. Many portrayals of the harvest celebration also showed the Native Americans wearing woven blankets over their shoulders and large feathered hairdresses, which is not true. To show you I'm not lying, I have a special guest, an actual woman pilgrim. Meet Mary Sue Beth English, wearing a typical outfit for a Thanksgiving feast. Yes, this is exactly what they looked like. You can see they were very open to clothing, very promiscuous attire, but it's what they wore for Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mary Beth Sue Ann English. That's all I could come up for you guys tonight. It's been fun and happy Thanksgiving. I'm Trayvon Wesley. Back to you, Kevin.
Well, that will do it for us tonight on this Thanksgiving special of MU180. And we'll see you after Thanksgiving. Well, maybe most of us. Marco might, pull a Star Jones and not be here with us, but the rest of the gang should still be around. In the meantime, take care, people.